Today we are going to sample through some of these beers from Texas, and we'll get more in on that. We're just going to do a quick close-up of what we got. Jester King, Southern Heights. I haven't heard of most of these. We'll have to figure out what they are and call them out as we get to them. But we have a lovely summer day, and we're apparently drinking some big dark beers.
Come on.
Okay, so Tom from Texas. We got Scott out east. Now we got Tom from Texas.
Oh,
he contacted me
TFT
when I was doing my sticker solicitation and said he would send me some stickers, and would I also be interested in possibly some Texas beer? You betcha.
That's a great question.
Why not? So he sent a 6-pack. He sent a duplicate of the Jester King, so I already drank that. And we still are in the COVID-19, and we also currently are in riots in Minneapolis, St. Paul. 6 blocks from here, the neighborhood got burnt down a couple nights ago. We won't go into that. Terrible events all around, but we did want to make sure that we were, give or take, this table is 6 feet, so that's kind of fun to
6 foot exactly.
see. Chip is
I
so
think we're
far.
cheating at like kind of 5.5.
He's so
4
far. So the first one we have is 512 Pecan Porter, robust porter with organic Texas pecans. Chip, you can speak a tiny bit about the 512, just that you know roughly when they started.
Yeah, I think they were starting right as Elsa and I left Austin in fall of 2008. And I think they were either like in planning and their name was going around, and maybe they were brewing somewhere else, like their first batches of, I believe, pecan porter. I think they had a wit beer. I think for a minute there they were reviving like the wit beer, the Cells wit. I could be making all this up.
What do you think of this beer?
It's good. I've had it in Austin. I've had it at any festival where I go to where they're there. Like if they're at GABF, I make sure to get it. I like it.
So is it kind of one of the flagships? Is that what you were saying?
I believe it's the flagship at this point.
I like it too. I like robust porter. It's one that I've made a few times. I don't know if I can get much pecan out of it. I think that can be tricky. I mean, it's not going to be as noticeable as some ingredients additions. But it's a well-made beer, and I like it. Do you think you get any pecan out of it?
It's a little nutty. I mean, I'm betting maybe even like kind of like this like roasty character is obviously from the ingredients of the porter, but I think you get some of that from the nuts. I can't remember if they use whole, powdered. Like I would assume whole.
What does it say?
I know there's like clone recipes
brewed with organic Texas pecans. If you were to make a pecan blonde ale, then maybe you would.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's not a huge, and maybe that's all for the better, because like a lot of these beers that we're about to have, just from the label alone, it sounds like the additives are going to be like way more in your face.
We'll see. Yeah, I think we should keep rolling through. But yeah, nice effort from 512.
Yeah.
Good beer to start off.
Bold choice. One of these rating sites, and they may be like, someone at the brewery told me they use real cookies.
All right, so the next one is Fourth Tap Brewing in Austin.
Metric.
Super Knot Cookies and Cream Stout. 13% alcohol. And I was trying to recall what are those stouts with the sweetness and the additives, and I think it was pastry stout.
I told him.
We tried, I think I remembered it at the same time.
Oh, did you?
Don't know.
So basically like a big old milk stout with like something unique to it. In this case, who knows if it's actual cookies or if it's like chocolate chips, vanilla. I mean, they don't reveal. Their website didn't have this currently listed. But
it's very
good.
sweet.
It's very sweet.
It's one of those ones that you'll often say, and it could be the case with some of these next ones, that you really wouldn't want more than a 8 or 10 ounce glass. It's just a big, strong, sweet flavor.
I might drink more than one, but not like in my garage on a 90-degree day with more power slamming beers.
It's got
I can see drinking.
There's like and these other ones actually have coffee additions, but this one has sort of a coffee note to it. What's up, Fly? Get out of here. son.
It's very creamy. It almost kind of has like a dark, obviously like a dark chocolatey, almost like a dark berry, dark
Yeah.
cooked blackberry, blueberry.
A really high cacao percentage dark chocolate
Maybe.
without bitterness.
You can get the booze, man. My lips are a little like
Oh, you're getting
tingly.
All right. Yeah, I'll finish my sample of this, and we got a few more.
Fourth tap.
Okay. Next up, fourth tap, brewing co-op once again. Oh, I see. I have it backwards. These labels are cool. Bat Country.
Bat Country cold brew.
Cold
coffee?
brew coffee stout. They've got animated type labels that are different on the front and the back.
They look like show posters.
Actually, they do have a logo that is a skull with horns. It's like a human skull, but then it's got like steer horns. I don't know. This one has cold coffee. Does not say the alcohol percentage. It is quite a switch, even though it's also a stout from the same brewery. It is quite a switch from the previous Sweet Bomb.
I was gonna say the last one and this one too, like being real like anal about it. Like holding up the light, it is fairly clear, and I would say dark brown versus like a light black or some kind of like unseeable unsee-throughable stout.
Right, like
they're a little light.
Oh,
in this case, it could actually be maybe the coffee. If they use a lot of it, it might be diluting it, but it's very coffee forward. Like Don was starting to say, it drinks definitely drier and lighter in body than both of the first two beers.
They actually have a body, hoppiness, and balance meter. 3 different meters for their beers. Beerometer. The previous one was high body, this one's medium, so that kind of makes sense. This one was low on hoppiness, this one is about the same lowness. What? That's a word. This one's nice. I wonder, we were talking, what if you were to do a, maybe that'll be at the end, like if you were to mix these, you might get a slightly sweeter coffee beer than this. I don't know, this one isn't, take more sips, it's not too dry. The first taste was so different from the previous one, which was so sweet that it seemed like this one was too dry, but now it seems like a pretty balanced, nice drinking beer.
Yeah. If you're in Austin and you want the caffeine as well as the beer, I think you're hitting the spot right here.
I mean, as we've been saying for a number of years now, it's pretty common. You can just have somebody send you some beer from a completely unknown to you brewery and they end up being really solid. And it's just not even a surprise anymore that there's just so many good breweries.
Yeah, we kind of used to have to
country.
figure our ways through, like, if there was 5 of them, you could almost be guaranteed that, like, 2 of them, you'd have to be like,
well,
if you can't say something nice,
we still got Southern Heights to go.
don't say nothing at all.
I know the Jester King is good, but alright, let's try the next one. Southern Heights hoodie weather. As Chip so eloquently asked, what does Austin know about hoodie weather?
When I lived there, I owned a hoodie. I'm sure I did, and I probably wore it when it was like
inside when you had the air conditioning cranked.
Like it gets probably to like 66, and I would wear it. Whereas here, I literally wear like shorts
and a t-shirt
into December and January.
Hoodie weather is a Russian Imperial Stout, coffee, cocoa, and vanilla. The coffee, he looked it up. It's dark chocolate, vanilla beans from
the coffee and the beans. No,
TCHO was what the coffee
was the chocolate spot. There was a spirits company that gives them the. We're doing a great job of reporting here.
No, well, but what I noticed, and I'm not usually that great with this kind of thing, is I thought I smell peppers, and then I said I smell jalapeno. And he said, oh, that's interesting. Coffee beers are sometimes said to throw off that aroma.
Yeah, a lot of times if you use the coffee on the hot side is what many people have said. I'm not saying that I'm guessing that's what they did, but, or I think there's also certain roast levels of coffee that give off that like green peppery jalapeno.
Green pepper.
It's almost like the skin more than the pepper itself.
So
Cocoa nibs and vanilla beans from Revolution Spirits. Dark chocolate from TCHO chocolate.
This one is sweeter than the previous coffee beer.
Right.
Not as sweet as this one. Somewhere between these two as far as that goes. What about the coffee character? Is it...
I think out of the 3 additives, cocoa, coffee, and vanilla, I get the least amount of vanilla, which is fine. 'Cause
I agree.
a heavy hand with vanilla goes bad quick. Yeah, I get like the dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate and coffee, they go together fairly well. You can probably do a big roasty stout and do one or the other, or in this case, I guess they did both.
I would not call this like a pastry stout because it doesn't. I think a pastry stout has to have pretty much lactose, right? And then maybe like something that gives it other really intense sweetnesses. And this is
or just some additional flavor. Like, can't you have a fruited pastry stout, or is that more of a milkshake IPA?
Probably.
Yeah.
Call it like a burnt Danish.
It's just not something I really know much about and don't have a ton of interest in.
Yeah.
So that's why. But I think this beer is somewhat drinkable for how it is. It's pretty balanced. Not too sweet, not too dry.
Yeah, out of this collection so far, it's the one that I would probably actually most want, like a big glass to like last an hour or two.
Yeah.
And watch how things kind of change with warmth and.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. You know, the first one was a very approachable, kind of drinkable. You know, that when you get into your more aggressive recipe development, you're just going to get these, I won't say love them or hate them, but you might get more of a unique end result that you just don't drink a lot of, which kind of is an interesting business model, and that's maybe a whole nother discussion, but yeah, this Southern Heights is nice. Tom, nice call on sending that. And I know that this one's good, but you haven't had it recently, so we can give that a try.
My guess, I'm just gonna guess, is this in Southern Travis Heights? Probably totally wrong, and it has some other thing to do with it. Let me know, Tom from Texas.
Let us know. All right, Jester King is somewhat known for their sour program. I don't know a lot of details about it, but that's true, right? He's got 3 inches of beer. And
3.5 inches.
Not afraid to use it.
Yeah, they do a lot of wild, spontaneous,
funky.
When we were there in October, I would say the majority, and it was a hot ass day. It was like 95, 8 in the shade. And we drank as many lighter beers as we could as far as like color and body, and that put us into drinking a bunch of different kind of saisons and farmhouse ales and sours. I don't even know if they had like a, they probably did have like a Pils, something clean, or a Kolsch maybe, but maybe not.
They first came onto my radar before they did the sours, I believe. I don't remember what the beer would have been. I don't know if it even would have been like an IPA sort of thing, like back in the day. Like
they used to do a rye IPA, I believe.
I can't remember, but I know I had had some Jester King beer, and then I was surprised to find out that they were well regarded for all of their wild and sour techniques. That surprised me. But then it's not a surprise. I think I kind of have known about this type of a stout. This beer is not advertised as using cocoa, chocolate, or coffee, but it has all those kind of flavors that you get in a well-made, roasty, big imperial stout, maybe without adding them in.
I get molasses and like this high bitterness that none of these other beers have had. This one maybe did just because it's that cold brewed coffee and a fairly dry beer. But this is, I mean, look at that. I mean, like the legs are already drying and forming like this dark sheen to this glass. It's like motor oil. This is a stout as far as like color.
Even the legs are into Iron Maiden.
They really are.
It does.
That's good.
So you were saying earlier, you were holding one up and saying, oh, it's kind of clear and maybe brown. This one is none more black.
None more black. No lights coming through.
No, this is, I had a can of this a few nights ago or whenever, and I quite enjoyed it. This is really kind of about what I would expect and want out of a imperial stout.
Named black metal.
That's
Of
true.
all things.
Yeah, it's kind of bitter, hot bitter. How does it? I may or may not use this, but how do you compare this to the surly darkness of either present or past?
I would say it could have been close to a darkness. You know, darkness changes a little bit every year. I was actually thinking like '09 darkness, not without something like too
That is
really
a good.
nerdy.
That was one of everybody's favorite. That was probably the most bitter.
'08 was so sweet that I think they came back in '09 and like, oh,
The
y'all want
Mummy.
to complain about a somewhat sweet imperial stout? Here's the
Top was
opposite.
all. Oh, you think my darkness is too sweet?
Yeah, no,
No,
'09
that-
darkness was
That mummy bottle was
Mhm.
so good for several years, I think.
And in a weird way, it makes it drinkable. I mean, it's got oomph, it's got alcohol, it's got all these other big flavors, but because it's that bitterness psychs you into thinking it's dry, and you're like, is this Guinness?
No, it ain't.
No, it's a National Guard helicopter.
Not your grandfather's Guinness. We got the National Guard overhead, and we got the strong beers on the table and the hot garage on a warm, beautiful day. So, people, we do this for you. Tom, thank you so much for the stickers, the nice sentiments about enjoying the videos. Always appreciate it when you guys comment like that, and even go the extra mile and send some stuff. Hopefully you enjoyed us. And he, spent some, how many years in Austin, would you say?
6
There
best
you
years
go.
of my life. Honestly, maybe the second, like, as far as eras of my life, probably the best or second.
I'm
That's
not-
where I got married.
I'm
that's
not
where I-
taking offense.
Yeah, no,
If
it's
you
where I
like it
learned.
better than-
It's where I discovered homebrewing.
Then where I live a block and a half away.
Discovered craft beer, got married, had some wild times before I got married.
Craft beer came before
Yeah,
getting
that's
married.
true.
In
That's
case
where I
you're
found the. That's
paying
where I
attention.
found the real love of my life.
There you go. All right, I think we better wrap it up. Thank you, Chip, for having me over. 3 feet apart now, so we're getting closer. And thanks for watching.
Thanks, TFT.
Catch you later.